just showed up at a high school in Minneapolis, pepper sprayed and beat students and arrested a teacher. But
Just why are you doing this? What does this benefit to you? If anything, it's hurting our economy. It's hurting families. I know it doesn't really affect him because he's a billionaire that doesn't care about anybody else but himself.
But don't worry, they said it was totally an accident. They were just in the neighborhood coming by to beep some people up. And real quick, I'm Lauren Paritra. Please take a moment to subscribe, share this video with a friend, hit that notifications bell, turn notifications on, because currently I have a lead against Katie Miller, who is the wife of Stephen Little Bitch Miller, the man behind all of this, a white nationalist from Santa Monica. And we cannot let voices like that drown out the correct ones. So make sure you hit subscribe. We're in this together. So Wednesday in Minneapolis, great day for learning. Kids are at Roosevelt High School doing normal kid things, going to class, eating lunch, usual things. And then federal agents show up.
Oh! Hey. These bitch ass niggas, bro.
That was a grenade. That was a tear gas grenade. Damn.
Come on, guys. I don't want you guys to get hurt.
I need a bear tackle down in football, bitch.
Guys. Don't antagonize them. They literally just killed someone.
Where kill you?
Fuck you.
Guys, let's
Fuck you. Motherfucking murderer.
You guys gotta go.
They've just finished killing a mother. And now, before you get too concerned, let me assure you, this was all completely normal and not terrifying at all. See? Earlier that day, ICE shot and killed, again, a woman named Renee Nicole Good, just a few miles away.
No! Shame! Oh my fucking God! What the fuck? You just fucking, what the fuck did you do?
Get the fuck out of our neighborhood.
Out car.
What the fuck? Dude, what the fuck?
Just routine stuff. Let me tell you about Renee, because this is important context for what happens next. Renee Nicole Good was 37 years old. She was a mother. She had just dropped off her 6-year-old at school that morning, just a normal mom doing normal mom things. She was driving home with her partner, her wife, where they had encountered ICE agents on a snowy street. An ICE officer approached her car, demanded she open the door, grabbed the handle, and she started to pull forward. A different officer in front of the vehicle pulled his weapon, pointed it at her face, and immediately fired at least 3 shots into her car at close range. She died. Video shows her wife sitting near the vehicle afterwards, wailing, "That's my wife. I don't know what to do now." Who was the woman that ICE shot? Because the Trump administration has called her a domestic terrorist who tried to ram federal agents. No video of that. So let's talk about this domestic terrorist. She was a poet. She was a writer. She studied creative writing at Old Dominion University. She won a prize in 2020 for one of her works. She was a devout Christian who went on youth mission trips to Northern Ireland when she was younger. She loved to sing. She participated in chorus in high school. She studied vocal performance in college. And she was a U.S. citizen. She was born in Colorado. She'd never been charged with anything besides a traffic ticket. And her ex-husband said she was never an activist. She never participated in any kind of protest of any kind. Her mother told reporters that Renee was one of the kindest people she's ever known, that she was extremely compassionate, and that she's taken care of all the people all her life. She was loving, forgiving, and affectionate. She was an amazing human being. But according to the federal government, she was a domestic terrorist. So ICE kills this woman, this poet, this Christian, this mother that morning, shoots her in her car, leaves her wife wailing in the street. And then naturally, they decided the best follow-up activity was to swing by a high school.
Our translator at school, who translates Spanish to English, was thrown to the ground just because of the way he looks.
I looked at my phone and I started crying.
I saw a video of one of my teachers being beat to the ground. He was simply asking them why they were here, telling them to go away, to stay away from our students, to get off our school grounds. And it was violent, completely unnecessary, and only to incite fear.
Perfect sense if you're fucking nuts. According to the students, and I'm just reading what they said, so bear with me, ICE agents pulled up to Roosevelt High School, blocked the road, started chasing people, tackled somebody on school property, a high school student. Again, totally normal, nothing abnormal here. Oh, and then they pepper sprayed students, which, really enhances the learning environment. Studies show that getting pepper sprayed actually improves test scores. It's science. Trump just said it. RFK Jr. co-signed. There's video of this, by the way. Federal agents deploying pepper spray into a crowd of students outside of school.
I want a world where all of our children can be safe and can get the care that they deserve.
With the events of this week, both the murder of Renee Good at the hands of ICE agents, as well as escalated ICE presence outside and around our schools at pickups and drop-offs, we decided we needed to come together today and call for ICE to leave the state.
Our kids are unsafe.
Our kids are scared.
Our kids, they can't go to school. It's just heartbreaking.
I'm angry. They're schools. The kids should not have to be thinking about this or dealing with this.
I literally just pulled my kids out of public school. Pulled them out yesterday. My kids are now being homeschooled for their safety so that they do not have to go into the situation. We don't have to drive through all of this.
Even though they are U.S. citizens.
They are U.S. citizens. A white woman was shot. My kids are mixed. And I feel that my kids are not safe in this country.
There was a similar incident even earlier this week outside of my son's preschool. Around the time of drop-off in the morning, ICE agents were abducting someone and legal observers were present, and they ended up arresting a bunch of those legal observers. Folks at the school, staff and parents who were there for drop-off worked to get the kids quickly inside. And outside of my son's preschool, they were also deploying tear gas. It's terrifying.
I had to talk to my son yesterday about what happened, a block away from his school. He's sick. I told him that somebody got hurt. He asked if they had to go to the hospital, and I had to explain that. No, she didn't go to the hospital because she died. And then the first thing he wanted to know was her name. Yeah. The next thing he wanted to know is if she had kids and if they're all alone
now. Where children go to learn. So just to recap the day so far that we're talking about, ICE killed a mother who just dropped off her kid at school, called her a domestic terrorist, then go on to terrorize high school students. Just another Wednesday in America. But ICE has an explanation, and it's a good one. Are you ready? They said that they were in a vehicle chase, 5 miles, that the person they were chasing ran some red lights, drove into oncoming traffic, and then ended up at a school. So ICE had no choice but to follow this mysterious fake made up person there and start beating the shit out of students, which makes sense. I mean, when you're chasing somebody and then you drive to a school, you absolutely have to follow them onto the school property and beat the shit out of students. There's no other option. You can't just not do that. That would be crazy, especially after you've already killed somebody earlier in that day. At that point, you're committed. You might as well take some weapons of war and just start spraying it at students while you're at it. What else is there? And then this is my favorite part. While they're there removing the person from the vehicle, a teacher reportedly assaulted a Border Patrol agent. A teacher. Can you imagine? A teacher at school seeing federal agents attack students on school ground, deploying weapons of war, pepper spraying on the same day those agents killed a woman a few miles away, and then having the audacity to intervene and protect kids. The nerve. ICE says a crowd started forming. People were yelling at the agents, telling them that this is a school, which I don't know why that would matter. Schools are just buildings where children happen to be. What's the big deal? The crowd threw objects, paint, rude. ICE gave repeated warnings for people to stop being hostile while continuing to be very hostile themselves. And when the crowd didn't comply, they used targeted crowd control. Targeted crowd control at a school, hours after killing a mother. But no, they just want you to know that it was a different scenario and it was just a little pepper spray, totally much more appropriate for a school setting. They didn't gun down anyone this time. The teacher who was arrested was released later that night, no charges. So, clearly a very dangerous individual who needed to be detained in front of students. Minneapolis public schools had to cancel classes Thursday and Friday, not because of a snow day, not because of a power outage, but because federal agents killed a woman in the morning and then showed up at their school and started attacking them and arresting teachers in the afternoon. 2 elementary schools also went into lockdown earlier that day. Elementary schools.
On Wednesday, it was pretty scary. Wednesday night. And we were coming back from a family dinner, and my mom told us that school was canceled. And so when I like to take my anger out, I just start writing haikus and stuff. So I wrote a few against ice and Trump.
Do you remember any of them?
There's one, and it goes, Trump is very mean, ice is horrible too, we can do better.
She doesn't know what's going on, but she hasn't been able to go to daycare for a while. There's been threats called into her to several daycares around the city as well. It did happen shortly after the allegations of fraud of Somali-owned daycares.
I am glad that we are not at school for our safety, and I am extremely disheartened that that is something that we had to do for our safety against our own federal government.
I was thinking about what Monday would look like. We actually got a text on the way here that there's an option to go online school for those who are too afraid to leave their house and too afraid to leave in general. I feel like I should be the last person to be scared, and it's still terrifying.
If school opens on Monday, people will be grateful that their kids can be in school, but incredibly nervous.
I am scared that my immigrant classmates and teachers won't be there, either because they were taken by ICE or because they are scared and they don't want to risk themselves. I hope and I pray that it will be a safe return where we are there for each other and ICE is nowhere fucking near my school again.
The people united will never be divided. The people united will never be divided.
With the recent surge of ICE presence here in Minnesota and ICE abducting our neighbors and our family and friends, we've been organizing sanctuary school teams in 35 Minneapolis schools and working with educators and other parents to coordinate ride support for families that are feeling afraid to go out, grocery delivery, economic assistance, things like that.
We are keeping our community safe right now. We live in a very diverse neighborhood where we know that people are being targeted, and our grocery store does not have as many people shopping at it, and there's been a movement within our community also to help get basic supplies like formula and diapers to our neighbors who are too scared to leave the house right now.
What I'm inviting and asking everyone in our communities to do is to not look away and to decide what they can contribute.
There aren't a lot of immigrants here because they're too scared to come outside. It is like an extra responsibility for those who are more privileged to stand up and do what they, like my sign says, we speak for those who can't. It's extra important that the people who are more privileged can stand up and say what the others that can't leave their house want to say. Renee was one of them, and it's terrifying that happened to her, being that she was one of those people trying to stand up for the people that can't.
After ICE killed Renee, parents raced to pick up their kids. Shockingly, they didn't feel comfortable with armed federal agents with a lust for blood operating a few blocks from their children's school, shooting people. One parent said that was way too close to the school to feel comfortable, which is wild. I don't know what proximity to a fatal shooting would make parents uncomfortable. Kids are resilient. Kids love guns. This is what they are used to. This is a cultural American experience. Governor Tim Walz held a press conference begging, in his words, begging ICE to stay out of schools. He said, I cannot say this strongly enough as a governor, as a parent, and as a teacher, stay out of schools. But here's the thing. ICE says that they have no business being at schools, that they don't target schools or children. It's just sometimes, when you're drunk off of the lust of killing somebody and going on a killing spree during an immigration enforcement, after you've already, again, killed somebody that day, you accidentally end up at a school, chasing somebody into a school zone. pepper spraying students, arresting teachers. Accidents happen sometimes. The head of U.S. Customs and Border Patrol, Greg Bonvino, was at the scene personally, so you know it was important. Top officials don't just show up unless the situation really warrants tackling people and deploying chemical irritants on school grounds, especially on a day when you've already, again, killed somebody. Really makes the whole thing feel official. ICE wants you to know that this was all the fault of the person that they were chasing. If that person hadn't gone near a school, ICE wouldn't have had to follow them and beat the shit out of people. It's really quite simple. Personal responsibility and all that. If the teacher hadn't assaulted the agent by presumably trying to protect students from federal agents who had already killed somebody earlier that day, they wouldn't have to arrest him. If the crowd hadn't formed, because again, people get so weird about armed agents showing up at school after killing somebody, they wouldn't have had to deploy pepper spray. It's all very logical. Oh, and Roosevelt High School has a significant immigration population, as does the elementary school that had to go into lockdown, Richard R. Green Central Park Elementary School. Majority of Latino students, but I'm sure that was just a coincidence. ICE definitely wasn't targeting those specific schools. They were just in the area doing their jobs, protecting America from poets and teachers and elementary school students and high school students at a high school. So to recap, ICE killed Renee Nicole Good, a poet, a mother, a Christian, somebody who had never been in trouble with the law, shot her in her car at close range, called her a domestic terrorist, and then chased somebody onto a school, tackled them on school grounds, and pepper sprayed students, arrested a teacher, and caused 2 schools to go into lockdown and forced an entire school district to cancel classes for 2 days. But they didn't target schools. They just happened to be there. And honestly, what's the big deal? Kids are fine. They got pepper sprayed, sure, but they'll bounce back. Character building, really? The teacher who got arrested, they're fine. Released the same night, no harm done. Except, the trauma of being arrested by federal agents in front of your students for trying to protect them from the same agents who killed somebody that morning. And Renee, well, unfortunate. She was a domestic terrorist who tried to ram federal agents. No video of that. And that's the official story. Never mind that she was a poet who won writing awards and sang in her church choir. Never mind that she had kids. And that child does not have a mom anymore. And never mind that her wife watched her die in the street while federal agents would not allow EMTs or the physician on site to come close to her. She pulled her car forward when an agent grabbed her door handle. So obviously she deserved to be murdered, executed. And then those same agents went to a high school and pepper sprayed students. ICE is out here doing the hard work, keeping America safe, one poet at a time, one high school student at a time. So here's what you can do right now. You can share this video. You can make sure Renee Nicole Good's name stays in the conversation. You can make sure people see what's actually happening. You can leave a comment so the algorithm pushes this to more people. If you know any teachers, any parents, anyone who thinks schools should be safe spaces from federal agents who don't kill people in the morning and pepper spray children in the afternoon, send this to them. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. Turn notifications on. Follow me on social media. Links are in the description because this is only going to get worse. And we need to document every single bit of it. Every name, every school, every lie. We are in this together. Let's freaking act like it.